Hello everyone and welcome to Fix It DIY. Today I'm going to be replacing the crankshaft position sensor on a 2014 Hyundai Sonata. Excuse the dirty engine bay here. This is a 2.4 liter MPI engine. Excuse the sign there that says GDI. This is a cover that I got from the junkyard. This is not the original cover, but this is a 2.4 liter MPI, which is the port injected version of a 2014 Hyundai Sonata Korean-spec. This is the part that I'm going to be replacing. You can see right here, that's the part number. You can pause the video and take a screenshot, and I'll also list the part number in the description box. This is an OEM part from Kia Motors, but Kia and Hyundai use the same exact part for their engines, so it doesn't really matter where you get it from. In my country, Hyundai was actually out of stock, so I found this from Kia Motors directly. Now, these are the tools and products that you might need. Again, it's a very simple job, and you could do this at home by yourself. You don't need a professional mechanic to do this job for you. You could easily replace the part in maximum 30 minutes. To start off, you would need a pair of gloves just to keep your hands clean. And as for the tools, you don't need anything special. Again, as I said, you just need a very simple ratchet set. Right here, as you can see, I've got a very small ratchet, nothing fancy. I've got a couple of extensions right here and a universal joint socket. You don't really need this, but in case you do, it is very, very helpful to have it. And for the most part, you're going to be using a 10mm socket. You don't really need a lot of different sizes for this job. Again, it's a very simple job. But if you do require, I would say keep sizes ranging from 8mm all the way to 12mm with you on hand. Other than that, you might need a pair of pliers just to detach the old wiring harness from its plastic clip. A torch would be very useful. And then everything else is just for cleaning up after the job is done. Now let's talk about some of the symptoms that you might find when you have a bad or failing crankshaft position sensor. Now, as you can see, this crankshaft position sensor has a metallic tip at the very end. And this is actually a magnetic tip. So this sits right in between your engine and transmission, and the metallic tip actually is a magnet that counts the number of rotations that your flywheel is doing. So it basically counts the teeth on the flywheel when your car is driving or idling, right? What this does is it tells the engine's computer how fast the engine is rotating. And then based on that, it can do a multitude of different functions that we can get into in another video. About what exactly it does, and I can make another video on the in-depth working of a crankshaft position sensor. But for the most part, when it is not working properly, what you would feel is hesitation when you try to give it gas, and the car would jerk under high load. It would also not respond correctly to your input on the gas pedal. And another symptom would be that sometimes when you try to start the car, it doesn't really start up immediately. It kind of has a hesitation, almost like a subtle jerking in the engine when it's starting, when it's idling, and when you try to give it some gas. Now, for the most part, those are the very basic symptoms of a bad crankshaft position sensor. Now, if you want to be absolutely sure, you could grab one of these scan tools. This plugs into your OBD2 scanner at the driver's side in the footwell, and you can display the codes on this reader in case you are finding a check engine light on your dash. And in that case, you could look up the code, and then you can put it into Google and find what the code correlates to. And most of the times you're going to find with these symptoms, in addition to the check engine light, that you have a bad or failing crankshaft position sensor. You could also take it to the dealership, but do keep in mind that they will charge you for the diagnostic. Now, unfortunately, in my case, my car does not show a check engine light. Let me turn it on and I'll show you. You can see that it's turned on now, and there is no check engine light. It should be right there if it does display a check engine light. But in my case, when I turn it on, there is no code. Now, I could also hook up my scan tool, which I did before, and unfortunately, in the case of my car, there is no check engine light. which means that there is no active code that would be displayed on the scan tool. So when you open the hood and you come down here, right behind the upper radiator hose, right there where the flashlight is shining, you can see that's where the connector for the crankshaft position sensor is. It's going to be a little bit yellow in color, and for the most part you can see it right in front. You can see right there the red and green wires going into the connector, and if you follow the wire that goes underneath it, that plastic loom, that is where you're going to find the exact location of the crankshaft position sensor. Alright, so first of all, we're going to remove the negative terminal on the battery. Since we're working on a sensor, it's always a good idea to remove this just so we don't short anything. And make sure you leave it on the side so it doesn't touch the post or anything metal. So once again, this is the front of the car. That is the driver's side, and that is the passenger side. So when you come underneath the car, you're going to see 1 and 2 10mm bolts, and then there's another one right there. So once you remove these 3, you can just slide the panel down like this, and then you have access to the crankshaft position sensor right behind this. Alright, so now we're going to remove the 3 10mm bolts. That's the first one. Let's take it the rest of the way out by hand. That's the first one. That's the second. That is the second one, so dropped it. That's the second one, and the third one is right here. We're gonna go ahead and remove that now. The rest of the way out by hand, and those are the 3 bolts. Now you could just, if I didn't miss a bolt, you should be able to pull it down and lay it off to the side. And now the crankshaft position sensor should be right here above the engine bay. Alright, so now with the plastic cover removed, if you go underneath the car, again, that is the driver's side on your left, and that is the passenger side on your right. When you come in underneath the car, now once you're underneath, right next to the engine oil filter right there, you're gonna see this black wire. This is the one that is leading to the crankshaft position sensor. Earlier, the connector I showed you is the one which you follow this wire, it will connect to the connector right at the top there. So let me just give you a better look as to what the sensor looks like. Again, it's really hard to see because it is in a very tight place, but that is the sensor right there. As you can see, the sensor is connected with a 1 10mm bolt right there, and it goes directly into the engine between the engine and the transmission. So this is my setup right here. It's a ratchet with 2 extensions, a universal joint extension at the end with a 10mm socket. So let's get underneath the car and remove the sensor. Alright, so underneath the car now, you can see a better view. That is the crankshaft position sensor right there, and that is the 10mm bolt right next to the engine oil filter. Get my universal joint extension 10mm socket in there. Make sure it's hooked on, and it shouldn't be too hard to get it off. If it is, don't use too much force. Try hitting it with penetrating oil, and you should be able to get it removed. Now I'm going to twist it the rest of the way by hand, and it should come off fairly easy. And as you can see, it's very easy to remove. That's the bolt right there. And now that the bolt is removed, we can wiggle the sensor and we can simply get it out of the engine. Okay, so now with the sensor disconnected at the bottom of the engine, we can just come up top, and it's the same yellow connector that I was showing you. You just squeeze on the tab and you just pull it, and it disconnects the wire right here from the connector. And then you can just pull upwards on it. You have to be really firm with it, and now it's disconnected. Alright, so if you just pull it up from the tray right there, you just pull straight up, and that is your crankshaft position sensor. So these are the sensors side by side. This is the old one that I just got out from the engine. As you can see, has a little bit of engine oil on it. That's perfectly normal. And this is the new one. Now just visually, you can see that the new one has the OEM stampings and the part number on the part itself. and it has the company logo right here. And the old one, since it was a Chinese replacement part, has no brand markings or part number. But they should be ideally the same length, the same size, and as you can see, they're the same length, they're the same size. The connectors are the same. It's a 2-pin connector, and on the old one, it's a 2-pin connector. So let's get the new one installed. So now at the top of the engine bay, we're going to install the new sensor. And just remember one thing: when you are pushing it down, you can see these two ridges right here. So almost like a drawer, you need to line it up with the ridges of the holder, and you need to push it down so it locks itself into place like this. And then you're going to connect the electrical connector at the top, and you're going to make sure it clicks into position. All right, so as we discussed, we're just going to push this all the way down. Don't worry, for now, we're going to just leave it hanging. And then we are going to find the ridges on the holder, and we're just going to slide it down just like that. So now it's in position, and now we can connect our electrical connector. It's right there. You're going to match up the old connector, the wiring harness with the new connector, and you're just going to push it until you hear a click. And that's the click, and that's how you know it's connected. Now, as you can see, we're underneath the car, and we're going to push the new sensor into its place right there. You can see the hole is right there with the bolt hole as well. It's very simple. It's right next to the engine oil filter. Now, one very important step that we need to do here is we need to take a little bit of engine oil, and we need to lubricate the O-ring so it doesn't tear. So as you can see, I have a little bit of oil on my fingertip. That once it's lubed up, I'm going to align the bolt hole. It should go in like this. And now I'm going to push it into position. I'm gonna have to use 2 hands for this. Now when you're pushing it in, make sure it goes all the way into the hole. And there we are. Now we just have to push the bolt in. I have the bolt with me right here. Alright, so I initially made a mistake where I accidentally just bolted the bolt into the aluminum body, as I couldn't see as the camera was right in front of my eyes. But now, as you can see, the sensor is right there, and I have aligned the bolt hole with the hole of the sensor right there. Now I'm just going to get my 10mm on there, and you really don't want to over tighten this, because the sensor itself, it has a plastic body, and it is threaded into the aluminum case of the engine. So as you can see, it is hand tight now. I can't tighten it anymore by hand. I'm just gonna get my ratchet behind my extension right here. Okay, so now with the crankshaft position sensor installed correctly, and it's connected on into its electrical connector at the top, now we're just going to do everything in reverse order, and we are going to tie up all of these plastic panels, and we're going to put them back into their respective places. And there were 4 bolts that we removed earlier, all 10mm, and we're going to reinstall them, and I'll see you at the top. Alright, now with everything connected at the bottom and the electrical connector for the crankshaft position sensor connected, as you can see, my friend cleaned the engine bay a little bit while I was working. We're just going to reconnect the battery. Now don't be scared if you see some spark, that's perfectly normal. That's just because my trunk was open and the light was trying to engage. I'm going to use a 10mm to tighten up the negative terminal. Just snug it up, no need to over tighten it. Make sure it's not moving or wiggling. Alright, so now that the battery is connected, we're just gonna press the button and we're gonna let the fuel pump prime. We see the check engine light is on. That's normal when the car is off. Foot on the brake, and let's test it out. Alright, as you can see here, there's no more check engine light. Well, there wasn't any check engine light before, but there isn't one now. And as you can see, the idle is pretty smooth. It's cold now, so I won't rev it up too high, but if I do rev it up, goes all the way up, comes down all the way smoothly, and it's perfectly fine. Let's go for a test drive. Alright, so on the test drive, it's feeling pretty smooth. Now when you change your crankshaft position sensor, what you want to do is you want to go for a nice smooth drive, give or take 5 to 10 minutes, and you're going to see if it's driving smooth. RPMs are smooth, gear shifting is smooth, and what you want to do is you want to get it out onto the main road, make sure nobody's around, and you want to give it some gas, and you really want to push on it, give it some load, and see how it performs under load. Alright, so now we're going to give it some gas and we're going to test it under load. Alright, it seems perfectly fine now. There's no more hesitation, and the car is shifting smoothly. It's performing fine under load. Ignore that flashing battery light, that's another issue for another video.